Alrighty, so for today's video, I'm going to be reviewing the T-34-3. This is the Tier 8 Chinese tank that just got buffed, and so I thought I'd give you my opinion on this vehicle in its current matchmaking situation. So the 34-3 has a really big 122mm gun. You can see it has 390 alpha. Basically, that's the entire premise of the gun, is it's alpha, and then it has everything associated with high alpha. So you've got kind of shitty pen, bad reload, you've got a 11-second reload, bad gun handling, bad accuracy, etc., etc. The DPM is actually okay, but the problem with the reload is that if you miss a shot and you've got 390 alpha, you have to wait 11 seconds. So one missed shot significantly reduces the DPM of this tank, and so the DPM isn't really 2161 effective because it has 0.41 accuracy, 175 pen. You're not going to hit most of your shots, so you're not actually going to see 2161 DPM from this thing. Survivability, as far as this thing goes, it's basically a Russian Chinese medium. The hull armor is weak to an extent. Like, if you angle it, you'll bounce to your sixes, but that's kind of like every single medium in the game. If you angle a Leopard correctly, you'll bounce to your sixes. So the hull armor is like okay. I would say you can kind of use it against Cromwells and stuff, but really you want to be relying on the turret armor, and the reason you want to do that is because it's like Russian medium turret armor. What happens is if you get penned in the hull, you're going to receive a lot of module damage. Your driver, your ammo rack, and your fuel tanks are in the front hull section, so it's very common for you to get lit on fire and tracked at the same time, and it's also very common for you to get tracked and ammo racked at the same time. So you really don't want to be taking hits to your hull because they cost you more than hit points, if that makes sense. So that's my experience with the armor. As far as mobility goes, I've got food. It's in BIA and some skills that promote that, but basically it's really, really quick. I notice it's a lot faster if you run food, that's a reason I run food, but basically it's a medium tank with, I don't know, average medium speed. So compared to a heavy, it's quick. Compared to a light tank, it's slow. That's what you can expect from this thing. As far as camo goes, with my crew, which I would not suggest running this crew, it's just the crew that I have. I have 32% camo when I'm stationary and 25% when I'm moving, and that's really, really significant. Like, this thing doesn't get, when I'm fighting tier 6s, 25% camo really, really means you can just kind of drive through positions that you normally wouldn't be able to otherwise. Especially endgame carries, the camo helps a lot. So 25% camo really helps when carrying against tier 6s. Tier 9s not so much, but that's the way I've set this vehicle up. As far as view range goes, I've got 420 meters with my setup, and those are the stats of this tank. So one thing I want to talk about is the gun on this vehicle. So the gun on the 34-3 is good but bad because, like I said, if you miss a shot, you significantly reduce your DPM by about 20%. So what I try to do is I try to make it so that I am more likely to hit more of my shots. It's a bit of an RNG tank in where you have to shoot more, it's better to shoot more unaimed shots than it is to shoot less fully aimed shots because the 0.41 accuracy screws you over. So what I try to do is I run GLD to aim faster, VSTAB to mean what it does. VSTAB basically makes the circle smaller while you're driving, so the circle has to close less, as far as I understand it. And so those two things are very, very useful. They help with the gun handling. And then I run gun handling crew skills. You can see I've got smooth ride and snapshot on my crew. And so all this stuff, including the food, really mitigates the gun handling, and it kind of makes this thing bearable to play in my experience. Now, that leads us into the crew. Like I said, this crew is not what I would suggest, but I'm going to run it anyways because I want to see whether camo is more valuable than repairs. I would suggest a crew from this crew right here. I took my old T-34-3 crew and put it in this tank, so I would suggest you go BIA all the way down, 6th Sense, Jack of all trades, recon, and firefighting. If you're not going to run a fire extinguisher, BIA all the way down, and then on the driver or the gunner, you should have repairs, camo, snapshot, firefighting. Again, if you're not going to run food, just copy these crew skills. They're not really interesting. They're pretty easy to do. So that would be my advice as far as crew goes. I wouldn't suggest you copy this crew. This used to be a light tank crew. That's why it's got camo, basically. And I haven't changed it. So that's the honest answer. So that's basically the 34-3 in a nutshell. That's my setup. This is how I run it in today's meta, basically. Crew isn't perfect. I would follow the WZ5A crew, but that's basically it. I thought instead of cherry picking games where I do 5k damage and 8 kills or whatever, I thought I'd show you some live gameplay for the review to try to give you a better feel of how this tank actually performs in the real world. So what I'm going to do, instead of choosing replays, I'm going to go play some games live, and let me know what you think. So off we go. All right, so this is one of those more difficult situations that you're gonna find in your 34-3. What you can see is one Ensk standard game, and this is about the worst type of matchmaking that you'll find consistently in this vehicle. One, we're on Ensk. Two, there's two Arty, and there's like E75s and T54s on the enemy team. So having said that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up by playing D4. That's going to let me get side shots on people, and I can pen those, side shots relatively easily with AP. If I recall, sometimes the AP has trouble penning the side of an E75, so as long as we're not shooting at his side, we should be fine. So that's what we're going to do. I always like to check my map while I make this play. I want to make sure... Okay, I always want to make sure, like, to confirm how many are going field. You can see we've got a heavy, a comet, etc., going field, and a lot of these tanks, including the 75, have stopped to take shots at me. It's probably not going to pen, yeah. So that's the major downside of this gun, is just its inability to pen some tanks. You can see a lot of tanks have come to engage me simply because I'm here, which I'm fine with. I'm hull down. I can brawl with heavies if I'm hull down. Not too worried. So I put a shot into the Tiger 2's roof right there. My YouTube channel has told me that you can overmatch that with this thing. As long as they're going to sit in front of me, I have no problem poking on them. So where's that Panther? Okay, so I'm just going to sort of hang out here, because if you look in the field, there's that T54. This shot, I don't know how to pen an AT-15. I don't really play this tier. Maybe this. No. Has to be like up there, which is kind of unlikely for this thing to hit. I think what I'm going to do, because there's less people fighting me and I want to shoot at people, is I'm going to go play the city, because might as well. I do notice that we've got a WZ131 going for Arty. There's nothing I can do about it. So I'm just going to try to win the city. I mean, probably our Lorraine is going to die. He probably should have moved to like A0 after realizing the tracks were open, but that can be hard when you've got a 30-second reload to read the map. So this guy's blocking my shot. I think I'm just going to push through. I'm going to have to go fight that E75 eventually, so... Kind of just barged in front of that guy, but I might as well stop waiting. Oh, that tree kind of slowed me down. I'll just try to have him shoot my turret, to be honest. Okay. There we go. And we're going to have to make our way back to base. I noticed that the T-29 is like still alive, which is kind of disappointing, to be honest. Cool. And so now we have to go back to base to reset. At least we've won the city, so off we go. That's a full HP T-54. I'm going to have to load heat for him because I'm going to be shooting his front. And I do kind of want to win this game. That WZ's going to have a hell of a time dealing with this T-54, so I'm going to take advantage of the fact that... Yeah, exactly. We'll just double team him while the opportunity's there. I didn't want him just to kill the WZ and then have to fight the 54 in multiple one-on-one engagements. So, going to focus that guy down because his tank is strong. I hate it when players face hug. Makes it impossible to help them. Well, we've got their biggest threat out of the way. Their second biggest threat is now the STRV. You'll notice an Arty killed this guy right here, so I do have to watch for that. And that shot missed. It went over his tank, which is kind of impressive. I'm going to focus on probably the Emil, because he's lower HP. I mean, this is a safe shot, though. I'll just take that. Try to buy us some time. You'll notice the 34B is busy farming damage on the AT-15, who's being inconsequential. Let's see if I can finish this guy off. I was pretty lucky to hit. Okay, so the Tortoise is going to have trouble with this Charioteer. I think I'm going to just have to help him with the Charioteer before the situation deteriorates. There we go. And now we'll have to kill the Emil. What's probably happened is it's likely that the STRV is sitting like up here, supporting the Emil. So this guy kind of... I'm going to be careful, and I want my teammate to be careful too. Cool. So this guy's busy losing his fight to the AT-15. I think I'm going to go join him because no one... I mean, apart from Arty, is focusing down the T-34. So there's two tanks left, the Tortoise and myself, and then they've got the AT-15 and the STRV. So that's... K0. Yeah, we know already said K0. That's pretty self-evident. So what I'm going to do is we're just going to look for the AT-15. If he's alone, which I think he is, right? He hasn't had any teammates near him for a significant amount of time. I just want to kill him so we can deal with the STRV together. So taking a bit of a risk here. This could be considered a bad play, but if I can kill this guy, it'll help us a lot. So that's what I want to do. Okay, well, that's not going to work. I think I'm just going to chill here and wait for the... Oh, I can play held down behind this guy. There's the RD. I guess I'm not held down or something. There's the STRV. Interesting. So I found both of them. And the tortoise is kind of far away. At least he did kill the RD, so that's like perfect. I want to see if I can kill the AT-15. Now I'm not lit, so I know I won't have a shot on him, but if he pokes... I'm just going to have to buy time for tortoise, but if I can kill the AT-15, that's going to be perfect. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to... That's got to be over here that spotted me, I think. Oh, shit. I'm just going to push the AT-15 right now, because the STRV is moving away. So we're going to aim our shot. Cool, and now we go help out our teammate. Thanks for pinging the map, Shaw Doom. There's no way I would have noticed that. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, now that there's only one tank left, I want to turn it into a 2-on-1. Obviously, I kind of want to help out this tortoise before he dies. The STRV isn't making a bad play in trying to kill the tortoise, but he probably should have gone for me first. Okay. This tank sometimes, you have to shoot a lot if you want to hit a lot, so. There we go. Tortoise can get the 7-kill game, I don't really mind. Alright, well, that's 10 kills between us. GG Tortoise, that was fun. Alright, so that was 108,000 credits, Master Badge First Class, 3.2k damage, which is pretty damn good for a T-34-3, and then the Tortoise did amazingly with 6,000 damage, so, and 7 kills. So, congrats to him, huge thanks for him helping me win that game, and so here's what I spent, basically. So I didn't make a lot of credits, and that's because I run food. You know, I've shared my reasons for running food. The consumables also come from the large repair kit. So if you don't want to run a large repair kit, and you have a game just like that, you would have made 50k credits, give or take a small amount. So yeah, off we go, on to the next. Alright, so we're on Rinberg. There's 3 Artie. So this is going to be... I don't know. If you look at the enemy team, it's like the question is, where do I want to play? Considering they've got 3 already, I'm kind of inclined to play the city. Now, the reason I'm even more so inclined to play the city is because they don't have an E75 or a Type 4 Heavy or anything akin to it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go brawl with their IS-3 T-34B and their Tier 7 Heavies. And hopefully that means I can stay already safe while, you know, being effective to some degree. So the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to play G1. I think I'm not a huge... I don't know, like I don't have a lot of experience in the city, so you're basically going to see me play a location that I'm not used to. And the reason I'm not going to be obnoxiously aggressive, like normally in heavies I'll just go to F2. The reason I'm not going to do that is because I don't trust... Like, I don't know how good our heavies are, so I don't have a platoon mate to rely on, and then also, like, there's a Cent 7-1 here. Okay, I guess he's thinking the exact same thing as myself. That 34B is looking away. But the Cent is, like, camping me. Yeah, IS-2, that's the map. Okay, so I'm not so sure I want to poke on this, because there's going to be 3 tanks camping this line. The T-29s followed me, it seems. Because normally T-29s don't go to play there. And we have a couple heavies not in the fight right now. So we're going to have to see how this progresses. I think what I'll do is I'll just camp this line, right? I'll shoot anyone who pokes around the corner. Because that's, I mean, the IS is pushing up. So if I join the problem with pushing up is they've got 3 tanks and he's 1 tier 7. Like, it is not fair to push up. I'm okay sitting here because the 34 is probably camping the IS, or at least looking at, and you can see that bounce, but that happens. go, get the kill. And now they've got an IS in the mid. They have control of the zero line city. So for me to push and play the mid, like for me to play this road, would be kind of suicidal unless I'm unspotted at the time of doing so. So what I think I'll do is I'll play back here and try to help out my teammate. Oh, my teammate's dead. Well, maybe I can stag the kill on this guy right here. Looks like I'm lit. He's aiming at me. Okay, I guess I wasn't lit. How are we gonna beat this guy? His position's kind of strong. I think the most reliable thing for me to do right now is to shoot at people right here. He's right here. I'm trying to judge it off the map. So if you look at my line is like right in the center of his tank right now. So I think he's there. I'll take one more blind shot and then call it. Alright. Pretty sure I might have been able to hit him. Might have been some accuracy troubles though. Okay, so the question is, how do we push this? Well, you'll notice we've still got this T-34B, who's, I like his spelling. It seems like I'll just have to lead, to be honest. I'll play this guy for hull down. We can shoot at people as we wish. And I'm going to choose not to engage the Centurion 7-1, especially if I can just sort of hull down poke on these guys right here. Now I see that Panther to my left, but I know there's probably going to be other tanks shooting at him, so I'm not too worried about him. And he's like a Panther, so who cares? We kind of want to win the city if we want to win this game. You'll notice we've got the Artie being a hero and spotting for us. I don't think he's doing that on purpose. I think he just hasn't looked at his map and realized the field is lost. So, yeah, he'll spot base for us, basically. If they push into our base, we'll find out. But I'm not too worried about that. Like, who cares? We should be able to win this one, no problem. This is like brawling in this tank, I guess. You just find a position where you can be held down, and then you left click on things whenever you reload. Oh, this guy's blocking my shots. Trying to elevate my tank over this guy's tank. Doesn't seem to be working too well. Everyone but the IS-3 has fired. So I know the IS-3 is reloaded right now. He's probably going to team kill the T-29. This guy's like the actual threat. I don't really care about the T-29. I mean, if he's just going to troll, he's not much of a threat. Alright, well, I'll just push through him, and then we can go kill Artie or something, because that'd be nice. Gonna auto-aim him. Try to pin that, actually. Auto-aim at that angle won't pin the side of an IS-3 because of the way his side armor works. So, you have to be careful sometimes. When you don't have high pen, you don't want to just auto-aim people and run away, but, you can see I basically played it correctly there, as far as I'm concerned. So hopefully we can get 1 or 2 kills on the Arties. This thing likes to one-shot Artie, so that's great. Everything except that Artie. Let's shoot at this guy. Cool. And we're just going to move forwards. I don't really... Maybe I can get a kill on this guy. I guess not. So we're just going to push into the M12 because he fired. I'm not worried about it. I want more damage, etc., etc. And it seems to be a relatively reliable way of gaining credits. So probably the M12 is moved. If we haven't spotted him by now, we shall see, though. If I get to shoot at the STRV, I won't complain. Yeah, he's moved. Yeah, that's unlikely. I'll shoot at the STRV. Cool. Well, this chat, man. That's the game. Let's go take a look at the end plates. Maybe I can get the Top Gun. Kind of doubt it. Artie's probably just going to stay safe. Yeah, okay. Let's go take a look at the end plates and we'll go from there. Alrighty, so as you can see, I got my medium tank 3, so 450,000 extra credits, but basically with 2,500 damage, 5 kills, 1316 base XP, I got a Mastery Badge First Class, and 57k credits, and minus the 20,000, like, including the subtraction of 20,000 for my consumables. So, yeah, I mean, this is how the T-34-3 actually performs in real-world scenarios. I've played 3 games to get these games specifically. I'm just going to omit one where, like, it wasn't even close. It's not worth showing. So basically, these are like real life examples of T-3043 gameplay, so hopefully that should give you a bit more information on deciding whether or not you want to buy this tank. My opinion is I really don't regret getting the T-3043. Like, you know, I've got a ton of games in this thing. Let's see. I think it's my most played tank, to put it nicely. Yeah, I've got 1471 games in this thing. I play this tank a lot. Or I used to anyways. I think it's worth it, especially after the buff. And I would highly consider getting it, especially if you're going to get like the Chinese crews. Because so what I did is I took the T-34-3 crew, which used to be this crew right here, and I put it into the meta heavy of the day, which is the 5A, and I don't regret it at all. So now I'm going to use the tank to train up another like 5 skill crew, put it into something else, and yeah, I really don't regret getting the 34-3 at all. And then especially after the buffs, like the gun handling is pretty damn good. So yeah, I hope to see you around. I hope this video is helpful, etc., etc. Bye for now.